that's that. But my overall thoughts on this film, and then we'll get into reviewing the reviews. My overall thoughts on Dune are, you know, I there's a lot to like in this film. There is. The characters are at least intriguing. The side characters are not really. And Dave Bautista, which I forgot to mention, is in this film. I don't think he really has anything to do with the story. And he has some of the worst acting I've seen in this film. He's so bad in this film. And I used to love him in WWE. Um, and I like him in the Guardians of the Galaxy films and the Marvel films, but yeah, he just has not really been that impressive to me in any of these like dramatic films he's been in. Like in Bond, he was kind of, he didn't have any dialogue, and in this, it's just he was the cringiest I think he's ever been. So yeah, whatever. We'll see him in the new Guardians film, and he'll probably be funny. So whatever. But um, I just I wasn't I wasn't blown away by this, man. I wasn't blown away by it. To be completely honest, I thought it was fine. Um, it had, the action. I thought a lot of the set pieces were amazing, but the hand to hand combat and that kind of stuff just felt really, I don't know, not that interesting. And I think, the technology that was, implemented, the shields and all that, I just thought was just cheesy looking in my opinion. And I guess that's part of the book. So whatever, but I just didn't really like the aesthetic of it. Like I said, the score was not good. I was not a fan of the didgeridoo soundtrack. I mean, I like that maybe in Sparing for some films, but it just sounded really jarring here. Hans Zimmer, I mean, I appreciate him trying something new with this film and trying something really alien and foreign. But I just was not a fan of this score at all. I'm sorry. Um, you know, and I wish it was almost more orchestral, maybe. Because this was just kind of wacky. Um, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, you know, um, I thought, uh, and I thought just um, but I did think some of the set pieces were good, um, like I said, the stuff with the worms was really interesting, and it was a great way to build tension. Um, the stuff with uh, you know, the, the stuff with Timothy Chalamet, I thought was pretty interesting in this film. Um, and I thought his relationship with Rebecca Ferguson was really good. Um, but again, there was just a lot of side characters that just weren't that interesting. The hand to hand combat, fight scenes were just not really. I mean, I liked how well shot they were. They just weren't that gripping to me, and I didn't really care about any of the characters that were involved in a lot of them. I thought there was a scene where they were, the scene where Jason Momoa sacrifices himself was like interesting, but it just wasn't like the fighting wasn't that interesting, like I said. But I thought the story elements of it were good. I thought the story was really good, and was definitely interesting. But again, the world building for me was the biggest failure of this film, and it's something they need to fix in the second film. Is really give us some of the scope of how this affects everything around it. You only really see a few characters and shots. Like I'd like to see some civilians. What is the culture of these people? What is the difference? Why should I care about the Atreides and not care about the other characters? What I mean, I don't know. It just that whole situation just didn't feel that fulfilling to me in terms of world building. In terms of this felt like a film. That's my problem with it. It didn't feel like they created a world here, and unlike with, a lot of other films, that are along the same lines. These fantasy kind of films, they want to create this lore and this world, and I'm all for it. These are some of my favorite kind of films, and I'm willing to take the time. I'm willing to be patient with it, but at the same time, there just wasn't enough here for me to be, that blown away to where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next in this world. And I did think visually it was really good. There is things to really like here. I think that this is a good film. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about it. I've said enough. I've talked about the whole story, the things I liked. And overall, if I have to give this a grade, I'm going to give Dune. I'm going to go 3.6 out of 5 for this. I really like this film. I did. You know, but again, yeah, let me get that up. 3.6 out of 5. Yeah. 3.6 out of 5. Oh, crap. For Dune. But, yeah, I really. Yeah, I do think this is a really good film, though. I think you should check it out. I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't say really good. I take that back. I say it's pretty good. There is some things that I like, and I think with the sequel, if they can expand this universe a little bit more, give me more, a little bit less of these, esoteric dream sequences, and a little bit more of the actual meat and potatoes of these characters. What do these characters want? What is the connection between Zendaya's character and Timothy Chalamet's character? What is, they don't really explain a lot of this stuff, and I'm just banking on the second movie being able to. And if it doesn't, then both these movies are really going to become, worse. And that's the problem with these part one films. They're hard to really judge as a standalone film because you need to see the second one to really, feel fulfilled. So again, I can't tell you, if I'm gonna love the next one, but what I can tell you is, as this is a standalone film, not great, but knowing that there's going to be a part two gives me hope. But again, I shouldn't have to watch the second film to like the first one. But I mean, with these kind of films, it's different because from the start, this is Dune Part 1. It mentions that, and that's why I'm willing to give it a slide. But as a standalone film, not great. But as a Part 1, okay, it's pretty good. And that's what I'm judging it as. And that's why I think I'm going to give it a 3.6. Because as a standalone film, it's not great. But I think this grade can go up if the second film is good. And I think I'll give the second film, if the second film's really good, I'll give it a higher grade. And almost tack this on top of it. And almost draw from things I like in this film that they expand upon in that film, So when I talk about that, Dune 2, when we reconvene for Dune 2 in 2023, on October 20th, 2023, which is the date that Warner Brothers has confirmed. So, yeah, we'll talk about it then. And who knows, maybe I'll enjoy this film a little bit more so. But